Before I get into it, I want to let you all know that my server is releasing on the 24th of September at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is a little over a day away. It's a new game mode that's a combination of regular factions, HCF, Clash of Clans, all combined with some new features. If you're interested, I'll have the server Discord linked below as well as the playlist dedicated to making and explaining the whole server. Anyways, let's get into it. I was working on balancing my server's economy, and I decided to share my results with you in case you want to know which crop is the best to farm. So in this video I'm going to go over the Cactus Farm, the Sugarcane Farm, Melon Farm, and Pumpkin Farm, but let's first start out with this Cactus Farm here. Alright, so I tested two different Cactus Farm designs, one with these pillars, one without the pillars. The idea of these pillars, what I was thinking in my head, was that it would stop some of the cactus from breaking, because sometimes when they pop from going up here and hitting the fence, it'll fly off and hit another fence. So if you put these pillars in the diagonals, I was thinking maybe it would stop some flying over to the other cactus. And according to my data, it did help by 13%. So it made 13% more adding these pillars than this farm did. So, I mean, if you want to add this, you can. So this cactus farm right here made 3,986 cactus per hour. And at $5 per cactus, it turns out to be $19,932. So that's how much this cactus farm made in an hour. And it's about 30 blocks tall. It's maybe like 35 blocks or something like that tall. And only it fits in a chunk. And then this one over here, on the other hand, this one made 4,582 cactus per hour, which comes out to be about 22,913. Now, if you're actually playing on my server, I increased the cactus spawn rate by 50%. So in reality, this farm right here is actually making us about $29,900 per hour, while on the other hand, this one over here is making us about $34,400. Alright, now let's get into the sugarcane farm here. So of the bunch, this is the only one that actually sticks out over a chunk. So you can see here, it sticks out one block past here, 2 blocks past here, but the other direction, it sits perfectly inside of a chunk. So you can make your walls up like this. Obviously, this one's going to be a little bit larger. So just take that into account when you're making this one. So it may inflate the numbers a bit when I read you it off, but it is a little bit shorter, so maybe that will balance out a bit. Anyways, this one makes 7,492 sugarcane per hour. And at $6 per sugarcane, that comes out to be about $44,952 per hour. So if you have a different economy on your server, multiply it by the value of the sugarcane, and that's how much you're going to be making. It's also really scalable. And also one thing to note is you want to make sure you have walls here. I did have the walls here when I was testing the amount of money it made. But yeah, these slime blocks literally eject the freaking sugarcane to the stratosphere. So make sure you have that there. As you can see over here, we're just getting a bunch of sugarcane here because it literally launches it over into the cactus farm. Anyways, this is probably one of the best ones to make in terms of scalability if you want to go for a lot of money. Cactus farms might be the best one to make as soon as you start playing the world because it's going to be the easiest, cheapest to make. But then honestly, I would make this one second. It's really easy to scale. It's not going to go over the piston limits of your server because it only uses 2 pistons per tier here. So as you can see, it goes 2, 2, 2 all the way down. And same with this one versus the other farms over here, which use a lot more pistons. So this one's going to be very easily scalable, and if you want to make it longer, you can go over here and put redstone, and you can essentially continue the pattern on along the way, but this one's only going to be a chunk for now. If you want to look at bigger ones, you can always make it bigger if you'd like to. Anyways, will have the schematic for this down below, and if you want to go down here, I have a timer set up here. So this is 2 stacks of blocks. So if you put 2 stacks of blocks into here, it will essentially... Alright, yeah. If you put 2 stacks of blocks in here, it will essentially go off at a good timing. You may want to play with the timing depending on your server, but I don't want the sugarcane to go 3 tall. Otherwise, you're going to be losing out on some efficiency because the obsidian doesn't move. So this timing seemed pretty good for me, and it made a lot of money. So I think it's pretty good, but always change that if you have to. Also, take into account here, when you're making your walls here, if you make a wall like right here, you want to make sure you put obsidian on these 2 blocks like that, that's touching it. So anything that's touching this slime needs to be obsidian, otherwise it's going to stick to it and just going to produce a whole bunch of issues. So make sure you use obsidian here, not regular stone, or just any other block that can't be moved by slime. Alright, next are the melon farm and pumpkin farm. So these farms are actually identical to each other, and they all fit perfectly within inside one chunk, so you can actually make walls like this all the way up to the very top. And just basically surround the whole thing, so that's pretty nice and compact. If you want to make it larger, you can just extend this out and then just make another set right here and extend those out. The only downside with this is that it may be more laggy and also may be limited on some servers due to piston limits, because there's a lot of pistons, as you can see right here. There's about 14 pistons per side, and as you can see, there's a lot of sides right here. So that might not be the most efficient strategy in terms of lag and other things like that. So this is going to be definitely the best farm to make. The melon farm right here is going to be the most efficient in terms of money making, but it's also going to be the least easy to scale because you can't really make it as large without running into issues like limiting out on pistons or creating too much lag. So this melon farm is something I suggest for a smaller size faction that wants to generate a lot of money, but not having a big enough team to go for like a huge like scale of a massive sugarcane farm. So obviously this is a small one, but if you made it bigger, it'd be easier to scale than this one. But this makes about $1.2 million per day, just this one little melon farm here. So that's a ton of money. If you look right here, this generates 26,368 melons per hour, which comes out at $2 per melon to be $52,736 per hour. But in terms of scalability, it's lacking there. So definitely choose this farm if you're trying to make a lot of money quickly, but otherwise, probably stick with the sugarcane farm. Now, the pumpkin farm is fairly similar. It generates 5,340 pumpkins per hour, but each pumpkin on my server goes for $8. So that comes out to be 42,720. So that's slightly less per hour than the sugarcane farm, but they are pumpkins, so they're a lot easier to sell. You don't get very much of them. Also, if you look at the melons right here and you can see that they're not falling down, don't worry about this when it's actually running. The whole reason why this is an issue right now is because not a lot of the melons are spawning, because normally when you put another one in like this, it'll push all of them down like that, so you don't have to deal with any of them getting stuck. Alright, in summary, I suggest going with the Cactus Farm in the very beginning because it's the easiest to build, quickest to build, and it's also very scalable. Then I would suggest going in with the sugarcane farm for large scale builds, especially when you want to start making a lot more money, because this one's going to make more money than the Cactus Farm. It's pretty easy to scale as well, but it's going to cost a little bit more for the materials. Then I'd go with the melon farm if you're a smaller faction who wants to make a lot of money and don't want to have a lot of time for scaling. And then pumpkin farm is essentially the same reason as the melon farm, but it's just if you're a little bit more lazy and you don't want to sell as much. So those are the farms right here. Let me know what you guys think down below. And also one key detail here that you may not see in the schematic is you need to have water behind the crops like this, as you can see. But you don't need every other block. You can have it, you don't need every single seed block right here. You can have it like one water here, one water here, one water here, and then so on like that, right? But you do need this water here because it's going to increase the efficiency of your different crops here. So make sure you keep that in mind. And the water is going to be right behind this block, these blocks like this. So that's water there, just like that. So just remember to put the water there and you'll be all good to go. And yeah, that should be everything. Whoa.